All right, Reds, it's Thursday's Talking Reds. Gareth Roberts, Lizzi Doyle, and today we are talking about big Sam Allardyce. El Sam, the fella who walked away, well, sacked from Everton and has been swimming around in gravy ever since. Jumping into gravy, swimming in gravy, kayaking in gravy. Who knows what he's been doing? But there's no doubt about it. He is being mainline and Bisto because that's what he does. And yeah, what has he been talking about? He's been talking about Liverpool's playing style. Not only that, he's done a big interview, but this is the bit that's been sort of pulled out by a lot of the press. And he says Liverpool play long ball very well indeed, from right to left and very quickly. But no one will say Liverpool play long ball. You wouldn't hear Martin Tyler saying it because it would be frowned upon. You've got to be careful about saying Liverpool play long ball, but that's the way it is. They play long ball exceptionally well and better than anybody else, and that's why they do it. Obviously, that's sort of brought up to the front by your tabloids, if you like, because they know, the people sitting in the office of the Mail or any of the other tabloids that have run it this particular way will know that will get up the noses of some fans potentially. It will lead to clicks. It will lead to some kind of controversy because people are saying controversial comment. I don't find it controversial myself. We've just been talking to Neil in there, and Neil does a stat show, which is a subscriber video as part of the Anfield app package, and he was pulling some stuff up on StatsBomb to try and have a look at this. And I think he was saying Trent Alexander-Arnold's played more long right to left passes than most clubs have in the league. I mean, it is a tactic. It is something we do. We've got players at the back who can play a good long ball. We've got players up front who can win that ball, and if not that ball, certainly the second ball. Yeah. It's leading to lots of goals. No problem.
The thing is, the long ball has probably changed as to what he's talking about. The long ball that you associate Allardyce with Pulis with Burnley is that one from the centre half to a big groch up front who holds it up and then waits for everyone to catch him up, really, whereas that's not the type of long ball we play, is it? It's like it's more of a switch. We have, but like it's because Van Dijk, I think, is a bit more of a classy footballer than, I don't know, say like a Ben Mee at Burnley, and I don't want to like slag him off or whatever, but I think Van Dijk is a type of player who has got that good of a pass on him. You probably could play him in centre midfield, whereas I think like for most centre halves it's probably not the case. But listen, it's not an insult. I think when you read it with this sort of stuff, it's one of those where once you go on to read the article, actually it's a bit of a compliment and it all explains it, and actually there's nothing to be annoyed about because that's the football that we play. That's that's why we're so successful. And what's so good about the fact that we play this long ball, or people use the word direct, don't they, now with Liverpool? That's how they talk about Liverpool. Switching and direct are the terms rather than the long ball, is that we've changed the way that we play. We never used to play that way a couple of seasons ago. First under Klopp, it was the heavy metal football, it was the press and even a bit playing off from the back, which we still do quite well, but this works brilliantly for us as well. We
can mix it up. That's the thing for me. We can mix it up, we can shake it up, we can play different football. We can play centre half to centre forward and score a goal. Sadio Mane scores that goal in Munich, and it's centre half to centre forward, and then he does what he does because he's brilliant and he puts it in the back of the net. It's one of the best goals I've seen. Got no problem with it at all. The goal that was ruled offside the other day.
Oh, brilliant!
Would have been one of the best goals of the season. Real shame that it got ruled offside, but the move was passing it out from the back, playing it through dangerous situations, everyone knowing what to do, and loads of first-time football, really intelligent use of space. Mo, maybe just doesn't time his run quite right, or you can argue the pass isn't released early enough, combination of the two, but it's absolutely brilliant football. One thing Sam is right about in his interview that he's done, he says... Read out what you've wrote down on that screen there as to how he's referenced to Sam. Go on. El Big Sam Allardyce on the Ev. He says they're a massive club struggling to find the right direction. They've got a big manager now with a big reputation and he's a great guy. Hopefully that'll be enough with the right recruitment ideas to get the club where it wants to go, because Liverpool up the road are world champions.
Oh yeah.
And it's massively depressing for everyone who supports Everton. Spot on, Sam. Couldn't argue with that little bit of your interview there. I wanted to mention as well, 6th of February today, it is the anniversary of the Munich disaster, which claimed the lives of 8 Manchester United players, 3 club staff members, 8 journalists, 2 crew members and 2 passengers. I just want to pass on respects to that from the Anfield rap. Rest in peace. It isn't something to joke about, it isn't something to laugh about, it isn't banter. Just don't go down that road. We don't need to do it. I personally don't like any of that. Don't like any of the Hillsborough stuff. Don't like any of the Heysel stuff. There are people that still suffer to this day as a consequence of all of those disasters, and it's not part of football banter. It needs to be fucked right off. If we want to have a rivalry with Manchester United, absolutely fine. I personally am bang up for that. There's loads of places we can go. That's not a place we need to go. Okay, moving on from that, what else have we got today? Loads of stuff to talk about in terms of just little things that we want to mention. Luke, 1977, we've been plugging them on every Monday and every Thursday, these Talking Reds. We've mentioned them in the Tour Player subscribers, we've mentioned them on some of the Tour Player subscriber videos as well. There is an offer there for you to get some discounts off the gear. This tracky top is one of the things they do. This isn't one of the new collection though. They just brought out Spring 2020 collection. Go and have a look, luke1977.com. You can get 15% off with the code TAW15, TAW15. All the details will be in the description of this video anyway. And if you want to get an extra 5% off, so 20% off the full price listed on their site, go into our Tour Player subscribers group on Facebook. If you're not already a member, answer the really simple questions, get yourself in there, and the code is in there to get 20% off. If you buy something from them, well, I'd like to think that you think the stuff's good, but also they're a good group of lads. We're happy to help them, they're helping us, you're helping us. You know, it's a lovely virtuous circle, so go and have a look at the stuff. Today's clip now is a little bit different. So ordinarily we're talking about football directly in a game, and we're either previewing a game, reviewing a game, immediate reaction, dropping my phone, all that kind of stuff. This is a little bit different, a new thing that we're doing as part of our video subscription, or if you've got both. It's an interview with Elvis Costello, talking about not only his music career but also the fact that he's a massive Red, how the two have intertwined, how it's been a bit mad for him being a Red and stuff like that, being on the road. Really interesting stuff. We were really glad to get him in the studio. This is a new series of interviews where we get someone who is a Red, who is interesting, we get them in, we sit them down and we talk to them one-on-one. We've also done Asif Kapadia, who directed a series of films including Maradona, including Senna, including Amy, won all kinds of awards. Another great fella, another big Red. We did an interview with him as well, that's on there too. And there's another one in the can coming out soon with Ken Nelson, who you may or may not have heard of, but he is another big Red, but he's also a Grammy award-winning record producer, produced Coldplay, produced Gomez, The Charlatans, a load of others, and he was a great fella. We interviewed him the other day. That'll be out soon as well. Anyway, so there's a clip from the Elvis Costello interview. You know, you're doing a gig basically the night of Istanbul 2005, the European Cup final. So how did that go? Go on.
Well, we were playing the University of East Anglia that night. You know, it's a place I'd played since the beginning of my career, 1977. I played first there. So we were watching. I had a TV, made sure there was a TV backstage. I followed the game, and I'm thinking, you know, well, we got to half time and we're 3-0 down. My production manager said, I think you had it, you know. And I said, well, I don't even want to watch the rest. It looks like a dead and buried here. One goal goes in. I said, oh, you know, got one back, and you're feeling, well, that's a little bit less embarrassing, you know. So second one goes in. I go, hold on, hold everything now, you know. And then the next thing you know, all of my band and crew are watching it with me. And my guys don't follow football at all, you know. My guys is American. Stephen I, who lives in Paris, they don't follow sport at all. But they love the drama of it. Who couldn't, you know? And then it gets back, and of course we were, I don't know, an hour and a half late going on. The audience were not best pleased, you know, particularly when we open with You Never Walk Alone. Or maybe we closed it, I can't remember. Anyway, they were very disgruntled, and we've never been back. So, but I'll sacrifice, you know, the love of East Anglia for having seen that.
There you go. So that was a clip from the Elvis Costello interview. Get onto that, download the app. You get free tokens there, and you can have a go at the content. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't, just watch the free stuff, it's fine. But we'd love you to subscribe and give it a go. There are podcast videos and writing after every single Liverpool game as well. Loads of other stuff as well, where we just have a bit of a mess around. Big interviews like that one. tactics, stats, loads and loads of stuff on there. Check it out. We are also going to Ireland. We've mentioned this also, but it's getting very, very close now. Very, very excited about it. I'm one of the ones going. We do have a big laugh when we go to Ireland, which is why we keep going. We are going to Belfast, we are going to Dublin, and we are going to Cork. And as of a couple of days ago, not many tickets left for any of these now. Sort of in the 30s and 40s for each of the gigs, really. So if you want to get involved, go and get involved. It is theanfieldwrap.com/tour live. And as I say, we are in Belfast on Friday, Dublin on Saturday, and Cork on Sunday night. Expecting a big laugh at all of those things. Really looking forward to Cork because I've never been there before. Really want to get stuck into that journalist from Cork as well, who had to go at the Reds.
I don't know what you're on about.
So,
I was just going to say, if you was a fly in the wall, not 10 o'clock meeting, one of the points of Ireland was don't get bevied too much. keep the bevies down. We could have a good laugh over there, though. It's all fun, isn't it? And join it.
Yeah, looking forward to a good pint of Guinness there. People keep ripping the Guinness that they see me drink on videos.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, it's much, much better in Dublin. And of course it is, to be fair. I mean, they know what they're doing over there.
Have to go and test it, don't you think?
With the Guinness, it's fair to say. What else have we got? There's a few other things that we were going to mention quickly around the Reds. It is 4 years ago today that thousands of Liverpool fans walked out, the protest walkout on 77 regarding the ticket prices. Just a reminder, really, isn't it, that where we were and where we are, and sort of how quickly the owners, reacted to that, learned from that, and now we're in a much better place. It feels like the club is better with fans. I mean, we obviously had that sort of trademark stroke copyright issue not so long back as well, but in general, they're doing a lot better now, aren't they, than the dark days of the past.
Yeah, they're doing so much better. Like, I always speak about it with credit to like certain people as well. The likes of Tony Barris doesn't go unnoticed. A couple of people at LFC TV have really worked hard on this as well. Like, a couple of honourable mentions for like Phil Reed, Mark Valente, Mark Platt. Just about getting that culture right, and I think it is all in keeping with Jurgen Klopp, and I can't believe that was 4 years ago. So Jurgen Klopp was there, weren't he? Yeah. So if you think back now, like when we look back and we think of like bad times and dark times, we all automatically think of Hicks and Gillette, don't we? And not that was like a bad time, but it wasn't good, was it, when that news came out that it was potentially 77 quid to go to the match? And it's mad to think that Jurgen Klopp was in charge when that happened, and knowing Jurgen Klopp the way that we do now, or the way that we think we do, and how important he sees the fans and how everything runs from top down, I'd love to have known now, like, what was going through his head, 4 years ago when he saw that stadium empty out, because he puts so much emphasis on the crowd, doesn't he? And there's a couple of times we come out and basically rallied us all up and said, like, he's need to get involved, and it seems like a lifetime ago, even though he was in charge. I can't believe it.
And also it was good, I've got to say, it was good organisation by Liverpool fans. I remember, it created a lot of media. It just sort of reinforced the fact that, we don't have to take all this lying down. Like the work that Spirit of Shankly have done, that the Football Supporters Federation, now the Football Supporters Association, have done around ticket prices over the years has been brilliant. I mean, let's remember that, anytime you're going on the road now watching the Reds, you're only paying 30 quid for an away ticket. That is solely down to fans banging the drum saying this is too much, this is too expensive, you're taking the piss, you're making loads of money elsewhere, why do you need to fleece us? That's why we got to where we are with the tickets. And it was good the other night, wasn't it? I mean, I know it was only a one-off, but to see the stadium full of nearly 53,000 people, loads of kids there, loads of people, that was their first match. And obviously Liverpool did the business as well, which is brilliant. It was £1 for the kids, I think it was 15 quid for adults. And, just more of that type of thing would be great. I know it's hard, and there's so many people that want to go to the games, particularly when Liverpool are flying and likely going to win the league. But any time that they can, they should, shouldn't they? Yeah,
they should. And like I say, I think it's a shame. I think that was all marred a little bit and clouded by this idea that Liverpool were costing Shrewsbury money. And
there's money they never had.
I was going to say, anything is a bonus. There wasn't meant to be a replay as such, was that it was at Shrewsbury's ground. It just so happened that it went to a replay, and it was a really good initiative. And do you know what? The only people, as usual, who were complaining and not even Shrewsbury fans, no Liverpool fans, no Shrewsbury fans, but everyone else who wants to throw the penny in on Liverpool at the minute because Liverpool is so good that they're trying to find anything to bring us down.
Shit house radio stations that need to create a controversy every morning, those type of people. Yeah.
I mean, the FA tried to ban us from like all streams and all channels in the entire world. Yeah, they left. There was one channel in the entire world that managed to have it on, which was like in the MENA region, which was North Africa, Pakistan, and Afghanistan was the only place it was being shown. So they all talk about Liverpool disrespecting the cup. It's the magic of the cup. I can't believe Jurgen Klopp would do this, yet they won't show that to different countries to show how special the cup is. It's a load of bullshit. But all that's basically what I was going to say, sorry, about the ticket prices. It has all been like a little bit clouded by that chat, but we do need to remember, like, that's a good initiative, and £1 for kids is great. And you know what, it was a sold out stadium. Okay, yeah, there was a couple of empty seats. That would have been down to Warsaw Cups. We know that happens all the time. But no, it was really, really good to see that young crowd, and that the fact that they got to see like the next generation. And you know what? Do you know what I love already about this? Is that because they're the games that like kids go to. Because my first game was FA Cup. God, it was Barnsley in the third round when we got knocked out. But awful. But like, those kids like might have gone to, you know, Arsenal at home, they might have gone to Everton at home, and now they've gone to Shrewsbury at home, and that might be their first run of games. And Curtis Jones or Harvey Elliott might be like their new idol, not like Sadio Mane, not Firmino, because when they've watched them in the flesh, they've probably took a liking to one of the kids. I just love it.
Curtis Jones doing nutmegs and rabonas and stuff. Yeah, I mean, he was inspired by that if you're a young Scouse lad. What else did we want to do here? Oh, the question. So yeah, we do ask a question, or ask 4 questions every single day. Stick them in the comments and then we'll ask them on the next Talking Reds. That's the general idea. Sometimes we don't do it because some of the questions are shit, so come on, up your game.
And we forget as well.
Up your game, yeah, and sometimes we forget. But we've remembered today, and the question from yesterday that was being chosen is, if you only had one ticket for Liverpool versus Chelsea, where we're lifting the Premier League trophy, but Liverpool were in the Champions League final 2 weeks later and you didn't have a ticket for that, would you swap and why?
Oh, God. Oh, that's hard, that. My initial reaction, if my initial reaction is no, I wouldn't swap it. But I want to explain why, and I don't want to come across as privileged, because I know there's a lot of people who can't go to a match like the way that we can, and have access to tickets and stuff through like friends and stuff like that. So I don't want to get on my high horse about it, but if you're asking me personally, it's definitely Chelsea to lift the Premier League, because I've never seen that. I am extremely lucky enough to have been to 2 Champions League finals in 2 years, and one has ended up in a trophy. I've seen us lift a trophy in Madrid, and not only did I see us lift it, I then got on a plane at 3 in the morning, I had 4 hours kip, legged it to town, and I got to see the trophy again. I saw the trophy twice in 2 days, and I'll never forget that. It was magical, but I've never seen a Premier League trophy, and I think, you know what, I'd be gutted. I'd love to be at the Champions League final, because I'd never see Liverpool do a double. But if you're asking me, I want to see Jordan Henderson with the league. That's what all our energy in these 30 years, you know, well past a couple of years past my lifetime, has been building up to, and I need to be a part of that moment.
Yeah, I think similar answer from me as well, in that, you know, I've seen us win the European Cup. I've been there. I went to Istanbul. I didn't get to Madrid because I didn't have a ticket. But I've never seen us win the league in the flesh. I've never seen, you know, a Liverpool player in the flesh clutching the league title, because the season I started going to match was the season after we last won the league. So yeah, thanks for that, Reds. I mean, like, it was so, we won it in 90, and then I started going 90-91 season. So I was there, you know, I was going to the game when we were champions of England, but I didn't see us do it, you know, in the April against QPR. It was sort of the September, the October that I started going. So I missed it by a few months, and I didn't think it was going to take frigging 30 years to get the chance. So because it's been 30 years, and if I had to make the choice, then I'm being at Anfield when we finally get that trophy and we're walking around with it. And the other night was funny. I was at the Shrewsbury game, just got talking to one of the stewards, and he was talking about you know, last season when Brighton went 1-up. And obviously there was that chink of like that,
God.
You know, maybe just
that
maybe
30 seconds was the best of the season.
That 30 seconds, yeah, exactly. There's like, you know, that little chink of light, oh my God, we might actually win it. And this dude was saying, like, there was some half fella, like, you know, like like all like nearly fainting and all this, and like, oh my, you know, like had to have a little sit down on the steps. So he goes over to him, and he's like, yeah, are you all right, mate? And he said, he was like, oh, I've been waiting all this time for us to win the league. And he was like, lad, we're not going to win it.
City, you're just equalised.
Get up and get back on your spec. Save that for another time. But you know, I think we were doing something, weren't we, for Premier League Productions and the other day, and they were asking us loads of questions about what will it feel like if you do it and all this. And I was getting a bit emotional, to be honest. I went down this big mad road where I was talking about, you know, like people who'd never seen it because they're too young, people who won't see it because they've passed away, and you know, like just you know, it is special in that way. We're all daft, aren't we, about football? We all love it, and we all give it much more meaning than it probably should have. So to be there when we finally win it, definitely got to be there for that.
And it could be a gold one.
And it could be a gold one as well, imagine that. Going unbeaten, matching or bettering that Arsenal record, because of course they drew 12 that season in the league. Shit. Absolutely shit. It's not really money messing, and Sam's not even here. Nice bit to end on. Josh was put here, and I agree with him. Oh yeah, leave some questions for tomorrow as well, please. Nice bit to end on. Josh put here, a supporters club in Japan. I was seeing this on Twitter, it's really nice actually. Supporters club in Japan has raised 4,300 quid, some of which will be donated to fan support and food banks after their chairman heard about the campaign and wanted to help. I absolutely love stuff like that. You know, I remember, I think it was in the Far East somewhere as well, they were holding up all stuff around Hillsborough and stuff like that. I remember going out to Australia with the Anfield app, really fortunate to do so, and meeting loads of the lads there, and they were all members of Spirit of Shankly and things like that. And it's sort of, you know, you do operate in this like Liverpool bubble sometimes, or I know I do, and you think like, oh, you know, only maybe you can sometimes think, oh, only the local fans get it. But it's not. It's a worldwide thing, and to have people in Japan thinking about people in Anfield who are struggling, who can't put food on the table, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I just want to give a little shout out. I think they watch to Kate and Kim, who come to the office last week. They're from Chicago. I'm sure they're from Chicago. They met you on the tour. So the two of them came. It was the first time at Anfield, and like they wanted to do the full Anfield experience. They come here on the Friday, watched a couple of shows, and then they said like, "What should we do on Saturday?" And they were like, and the first thing is like, the first question was, where can we buy food to drop at the food banks? It wasn't, where's the pub? Where's the nearest whatever? Do you know what I mean? It was, where is the best place to buy food and where should we drop it off at the food bank? We want to make sure we fit that in before anything else. And I just thought, you know what, fair play to you, and thank you very much as not just a Liverpool fan, but someone from this city who cares very deeply about like the people in this city and the hardships that they're going through. It's easy for us to sit here, you know, fully you know, clothed, sheltered, fed, but there's a lot of hardship out there in Anfield. So for anyone outside of Liverpool to be raising money for that is just amazing.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's shit that it comes to that, like, but you know, the support is very much appreciated from everyone in the city. So well in for doing that. Well in those people from Japan. That has been today's Talk on Reds. Loads of stuff on the Anfield app. As ever, there is a break, but there's not one for the Anfield app. We're going to Ireland, we're still producing content. And if you want to find out about whether Liverpool are really a long ball team compared to the other teams, well, Neil Atkinson is hard at work in there right now, pulling all kinds of stats out. So watch the stats show. Use your free tokens to watch it if you don't subscribe. And if you do subscribe, it's going to be a must watch because Neil's great, isn't he? That has been the Anfield App Talk on Reds. Up the Reds.